Episode 123.
A life-saving favor?
The girl was taken aback by the stark contrast in Han Li's demeanor before and after. She seemed unable to process it.
You really do have a short memory, miss. If I hadn't just stepped in and saved you from that man's sword, why would I need to resort to silencing a witness?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just so scared I completely forgot.
It's nothing. It's quite something, isn't it? That after our brief encounter at the Tainan Assembly, we'd meet again here.
For some reason, seeing the girl's shy demeanor made Han Li feel an immediate sense of familiarity, as if he were looking at his own little sister.
I'm Han Li. May I ask your name, miss?
I'm Han Yun-ji.
Han Yun-ji. That's a fine name. It suits you.
Is that so?
But, Miss Han, how did you end up joining the Spirit Beast Mountain sect? And why come to this blood-forbidden trial?
I just...
If it's inconvenient, then there's no need to tell me. I was just asking out of curiosity. Right. Let's get into the stone hut and harvest the spirit herbs first. Better to avoid any trouble if someone else shows up.
Han Yun-ji nodded eagerly at first, but then looked a little sheepish.
Brother Han, could you let me have those few stalks of liang flowers? I only want these flowers. I won't take anything else.
Of course, no problem. Even if Miss Han hadn't said anything, I was planning to do just that.
Thank you, Brother Han.
In that case, Miss Han, you should go ahead and pick the sunfire blossom first. I wouldn't want to accidentally take it from you.
All right, then.
The girl thought this made sense, so she bowed her head and gave Han Li a respectful nod before turning to walk toward the stone hut. But just as the girl turned around, she heard Han Li sigh. Then a sharp pain shot through the back of her neck, her vision went black, and she lost consciousness, collapsing toward the ground. But just as she was about to hit the ground, someone caught her from behind. It turned out that Han Li had taken advantage of the moment the girl turned around, slipping behind Han Yun-ji and knocking her out with a light tap to the back of her head. Han Li gently set the girl down against the stone hut's wall, then slipped inside in a flash. A moment later, he had swept the spirit herbs from the room clean. He emerged, lifted the girl once more, and with a few swift movements, vanished into the nearby pile of rocks. Near the summit of the crater, inside a natural stone cave, Han Li laid the young woman down on the ground. He then sat cross-legged beside her and closed his eyes to rest. A moment later, Han Li finally opened his eyes. A glint of sharp focus flashed within them. He had regained some of his strength. He then retrieved a palm-sized silver box with a restriction on it from his storage pouch. Han Li stared at the silver box, his gaze distant and unfocused. After a moment, he opened the lid with an air of detachment, revealing a neat row of silver needles inside. These were the very acupuncture needles he had used so often back in his days at the Seven Mysteries sect. Han Li lifted his fingers, gently tracing the silver needles of various sizes. The figures of Dr. Mo, Li Feiyu, and others rose vividly before his mind's eye. His life in Divine Hand Valley on Rainbow Cloud Mountain seemed like it was only yesterday, and he couldn't help but feel a profound sense of nostalgia. Han Li's thoughts finally returned from their distant wanderings. He steadied his mind, and with a deft flick of two fingers, a slender silver needle appeared expertly between them. Han Li looked at the girl, then at the silver needle in his hand.
Miss Han, if it weren't for this carefree needle technique, which can erase a person's short-term memory, I truly wouldn't know how to handle the risk of the secret getting out. I do believe you'd keep my secret in good faith, but the world is full of unforeseen accidents. You might let it slip without meaning to, or have it drawn out of you by some secret art without even realizing it. I have to take precautions.
He then pulled a crimson porcelain bottle from his storage pouch, tipped out a fiery red pill with an exotic fragrance, and without hesitation, slipped it into the girl's mouth.
It's a good thing I had some of the forgetful spirit pills I concocted earlier on me. That's the only way I could perform the carefree needle technique without any lingering concerns. There might still be some risk, but nothing major. You'll simply forget everything that happened in the last half day. I never thought I'd actually use this acupuncture technique from Dr. Mo's legacy in the world of cultivation.
Several hours later, Han Li emerged from the cave, his face pale. He swiftly took cover in a nearby tree, then focused intently on the cave entrance. A quarter of an hour later, Han Yunji emerged, holding a few sunfire blossoms in her hands, a look of utter bewilderment on her face. She peered out from the cave entrance for a few moments, then raised a hand to her brow, a strange look gradually dawning in her eyes. Suddenly, as if remembering something important, she hurriedly placed the sunfire blossom into her storage pouch and rushed away from the spot, heading down the mountain. Not long after she left, Han Li dropped down from the tree. He let out a long sigh as he gazed in the direction the girl had vanished, then turned and walked slowly into the dense forest on the other side. The third day in the Forbidden Zone had finally passed. The arrival of the fourth, however, was far less smooth for Han Li than the day before. Either he was being chased and blocked by other powerful beasts on the road, or the information was wrong and the locations said to have spirit herbs didn't actually contain the ones Han Li needed. The number of spirit beasts guarding the herbs had also suddenly increased. In just over half a day, Han Li had already slain 3 mid-tier and 2 high-tier beasts. The effort left him thoroughly drained, both physically and in terms of magic power. Now, Han Li stood beneath a massive boulder, taking stock of his gains.
The quantity of the 3 spirit herbs hasn't fully met my target, but it should be enough to get by. Even if we left the forbidden area right now, it wouldn't be unacceptable. And according to Yellow Maple Valley's records, there isn't a single location left with immature spirit herbs. The rest of the information I can find comes from the data I traded with Zhong Hu, and there are still several locations left.
Previously, Han Li had been afraid the intel was unreliable and hadn't dared to actually go to these places, fearing a wasted trip that would eat up his time. But now, as Han Li scanned these external documents again, he immediately discovered a hidden location not far from his current position, one that was indeed rich in spirit herbs. Not only were there immature spirit herbs there, but there should also be many mature ones. This made Han Li's heart stir.
The mature spirit herbs in that place have likely been picked clean by others by now. But the immature ones should still be there. Since there's still time, and I don't have a specific destination in mind, I might as well go check it out. Even if the intel is false, I won't be losing anything.
Once this idea took root in Han Li's mind, he couldn't suppress it any longer. After resting briefly, he took off into the air. The place Han Li was headed for was located in a small basin somewhere within the ring of mountains, surrounded on all sides by tall, bizarrely shaped rocks. It was completely sealed off from wind and rain. In the very center of the basin stood an ancient, massive stone hall of bluish rock. Despite its great size, the hall's entrance was pitifully small, barely wide enough for 2 people to walk through side by side. This gave Han Li, standing on the boulder and looking down at it, a deeply jarring sense of dissonance. Han Li frowned, hopped down from the rock, and walked slowly over to the stone hall's entrance. He looked up at it, and as he stared, the suspicion on his face deepened.
I don't know if it's an illusion, but I keep feeling like there's a faint bluish light flowing over the surface of this stone hall. But whenever I try to focus my eyes on it, I can't see anything out of the ordinary. Could this place be under some kind of restriction spell?
Han Li lowered his head, scanning the ground nearby. He saw no trace of anyone having passed through. His eyes narrowed.
Something's definitely off. This basin might be remote, but a stone hall this big, someone should have found it by now. Besides, my intel came from the Zhonghu Inner Bureau. There's no way he hasn't been here before.
In that split second, countless thoughts raced through Han Li's mind. He instinctively sensed something was wrong with this place, but he was still reluctant to just leave. So he took a few steps back, reached into his storage pouch, and pulled out a golden blade. he tossed it into the air, where it transformed into a streak of golden light and slammed hard into a specific blue stone on the temple door. With a thud, a surge of green light enveloped the stone, leaving it completely unscathed. The golden blade, however, was sent tumbling end over end, flung back several yards. Han Li shook his head and turned to leave the place.
Avoiding unnecessary danger and surviving this forbidden zone. That's my primary objective. This stone hall is far too strange. It's best not to go inside.
But after taking just 2 steps, Han Li's expression suddenly changed drastically. With a flash, he vanished into thin air. Then Han Li's figure appeared inside the temple doorway, only to vanish again into the stone hall. At that moment, a large group of Moonfall sect disciples suddenly appeared on the rocky slope at one side of the basin. Leading them was the seemingly young yet in truth the sect's founding ancestor, the Elven Maiden. The girl's gaze swept over the spot where Han Li had vanished before the hall's entrance.
I could have sworn I sensed someone here, but now there's no one. Could my senses have been wrong?
Unconvinced, the young woman stopped in her tracks. She closed her eyes tightly and released her vast spiritual sense in a single sweeping pulse. The result was that, apart from their own group, they truly didn't sense the presence of any other cultivators in the vicinity of the basin. But when her spiritual sense swept over the stone hall, it was instantly repelled by some force. This startled the young woman, but then she was overjoyed, a faint smile gracing her lips. At first glance, she had noticed the hall was sealed with a restriction. That wasn't surprising. Several of the dozen or so monster dens they'd cleared earlier had also been warded, but this restriction was the first she'd encountered that even her spiritual sense couldn't penetrate. The girl, caught up in her excitement, decided to let the earlier matter drop. She believed that even if there were 1 or 2 disciples from other sects spying nearby, they would pose no threat to the large group from the concealing moon sect. She then led the way toward the stone hall. Han Li was in the main hall of the stone temple, pacing back and forth in a frantic circle. He had been about to leave. As usual, he first released his spiritual sense to scan the surroundings, then prepared to slip away. But to his utter shock, the moment he released his spiritual sense, he immediately detected a large group of cultivators alarmingly close. His blood ran cold. Without a second thought, he darted into the stone hall.
No matter which other sect is out there, if they find me here, my fate is sealed.